Welcome to the Art of Aging Well. Today we're talking about something that is everywhere right now, GLP-1 medications. This is a conversation I've really wanted to have with you because of what we're hearing about GLP-1 still feels really incomplete. How to use these medications and still age well. And for a lot of women, this is not just about getting smaller.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things is there are a lot of people out there who are abusing the GLP-1s. And I think that's, you and I have talked about this a lot, how people don't look healthy and people are losing too much weight and maybe taking too high of a dose.
Absolutely. I think like for me, it's about losing weight without losing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really an issue. Like I see so many people who, are a little bit more gaunt looking. They just don't look nourished. You need to be nourished, especially while you're going through changes and you're aging. It's really important.
Yeah, and your big role in supporting women who are on GLP-1s is the nutrition side of things.
Exactly. And so I think what women really want and what we all want is to feel good in our body, to protect our metabolism, to keep our strength, and to keep our glow and maintain our vitality, right? And one of the things that GLP-1s do is they suppress your appetite, like they lower your appetite. They, increase your fullness because there's a slower gastric emptying. And they also help with blood sugar regulation, which is a really good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti GLP-1. I just think that they need to be used more intelligently. We were saying at the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know people who are taking them, and I encourage them to not only be under the care of their physician, but also connect with a nutritionist or a dietitian or a mental health professional
Right.
and make sure that you're supporting all angles of this because there are a lot of people who aren't getting what they need. I have a client who she said that I could share some information about her. She said that's one thing that she's noticed is that she doesn't get the mental health support. She's a personal training client. She doesn't get the mental health support at the clinic that she's at, which is a problem, and that concerns me because there's so many mental health um, aspects around this. Like the suddenly losing weight is a big deal. I know you and I have talked about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the problem with weight loss when it happens too quickly is that you're losing lean mass, you're losing
Mm-hmm.
muscle, it's affecting your bone, it's affecting so much of your body that we want to lose weight in a healthy way or lose body fat. I don't like the word losing weight, I like losing body fat.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a healthier way to kind of look at it. And I feel like, I feel like if you're rushing something, like there's no race to the finish line. I always say that slow and steady wins a race, especially as we get older and especially when it comes to weight loss. Because if you think about it, how long did it take you to get to the weight that you are now? And then
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants that instant gratification and they want it yesterday. And
Mm-hmm.
if you take too high a dose or, you're doing things too quickly, then it's not healthy for you because you're leaving so many of the other things out.
Yeah, and the side effects can be pretty nasty too because I mean I follow a lot of people on Instagram who are on the GLP-1 journey and the sulfur burps and the constipation,
Yes.
diarrhea, and nausea and all of that. So how do you support your clients?
So when people are having like diarrhea or they're having a lot of gastrointestinal symptoms, it's about eating smaller meals more often and making sure that you're getting enough of what your body needs. And I like using electrolytes. I have an electrolyte product, but I like using electrolytes to help people, especially if they've had like loose stool. You need to replenish. Like my whole premise in my practice is replenishing what's lost through daily living
Mm.
because we are going to stress. I always say sitting on my lofty perch, it's easy to give advice. It's
Mm.
another thing to take it, but we stress, we need to replenish that. Life is going to happen. And especially as we've gotten older, we've kind of noticed that things happen. So it's about replenishing. It's about putting back what you're losing daily. And I think that having, really nutrient dense, really healthy meals, and we can get more into that,
Mm.
is really the way to go. And making sure that you're you're getting your minerals and you're getting your nutrients and your macronutrients, and just making sure that you're eating healthfully so that as you do lose body fat, you're losing it in a really good way and you're not losing it too fast. And I guess that's where the microdosing is coming in,
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard a lot about that now. And I think that it's probably a smarter way to do this, because then you don't have, I guess, when you are injecting it, you're not having those same symptomatic symptoms of the sulfur burps and trying to
Mm-hmm.
keep food down.
Yeah, in my coaching business on that side, I encourage clients to not rush increasing their dose. Let their body adjust, and even just mentally, not um, to have so many side effects that then you get down and it feels horrible. It's not, you feel like it's affecting your daily life, right? And your quality of life, and you don't want to do that. And I know there's huge talk out there about protein and making sure you get enough protein, but there's also too much protein. So
Absolutely.
how do
Yeah.
you help people with that?
So that's a really good point. Like, I actually think that protein is important, especially when you're on a GLP-1 and you have a limited capacity to eat, because you're getting that fullness and all the rest of it. And I really think that plant-based proteins are a really good choice, as well as animal-based, if that's what you're eating.
Mm.
If you are eating animal-based products, like, try and get hormone-free,
Mm.
because I really don't think we need those added hormones. But with like plant-based proteins, they come with fiber, they come with nutrients, they come with minerals, they come with everything all in one. And it's just really necessary for your body. Like, fiber is super important. And we can talk about fiber and dopamine, but it's really, really important, because fiber is one of those things that helps to make you feel full. It also is just really important for bowel movements. But having that said, if you take in too much fiber and you've got slowed gastric emptying,
Mm.
it can actually exacerbate that as well. So it's just about getting the right amount. And also, like, fruit and vegetables are really
Mm-hmm.
important. There's a lot of antioxidants in them. We need that, they come packaged in exactly what we need. So with the whole protein topic, I would say like about 80 to 110 grams as
Mm.
your utmost. And that's even higher than I would normally say. But I'm saying that if you can balance that out with plant-based and animal-based, because animal-based proteins come with fat,
Mm-hmm.
and, they don't have any vitamin C, they don't have any fiber. So you want to make sure that you're getting those nutrients.
And let's talk about muscle loss, because everyone talks about Ozempic face, Ozempic butt. If you lose weight too fast, then your skin is hanging. The crepey skin as we age. We've talked
Yeah.
about that too. So, because as a personal trainer, because I did that for decades and I was a wellness coach, I always encourage, especially my female clients, to get enough protein in. And I know I'm very conscious of getting enough protein. I know you're more plant-based, but I do eat animal protein.
Right.
But I think making sure that you're hydrating, you're getting that protein, and you are doing your weightlifting or some sort of even body weight exercises to maintain that muscle mass.
I agree with that. I think that's super important, especially as we age. I think muscle is really, really important. And I think you're right about protein, like getting enough protein, getting enough carbohydrates, getting enough minerals and everything, as I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Resistance training is really important, because your body needs reason to keep muscle, right? And muscle is an endocrine organ. So muscle is really cool. It's your metabolic currency. And it's not just for strength. Muscle is metabolically active. That's a tough one to say. Your organs communicate through muscle, which is really interesting. So muscle isn't just structural. It's one of the most powerful regulators of health in the body. So making sure that you're maintaining that,
Mm-hmm.
because as we get older, we go through something called sarcopenia, where we lose muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
And our bones, like, we need proper training, proper strength training, proper nutrients in order to maintain a healthy body.
Mm-hmm.
So that as we get older, we can actually take a flight of stairs, and lift our grandchildren if we have grandchildren, or chase your dog. You want to have
Mm-hmm.
the energy to do that. And as we get older, I always say, like, energy becomes a commodity, because oftentimes you wake up in the morning and you just feel really exhausted,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're not sleeping well, if you're not hydrating well, if you're not eliminating well, like
Yeah.
those are all things that are really important. We need that flow in our body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And sleep is important too. Because when you think about something else that we can talk about too is cortisol. But
right.
before we get into that, just to go back to muscle, when I think about um, my personal training days with clients, I would encourage clients, especially over 30, to make sure they were doing that resistance training and weight training because, we start to lose muscle once we hit our 30s, we lose bone mass.
Right.
And I used to always say that use your bigger muscles, if nothing else, your glutes, your quads. Um, so doing walking, doing stairs, biking, anything like that. And then the heart health as well.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, if you don't use it, you lose it,
Mm-hmm.
Like our muscles, we need that. We need that energy. Energy begets energy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put it out there, you get it back. It may not feel that way on like some days, but it's really important that we're exercising, that we have movement, because movement is really important. Like emotion has the word motion in it
Mm-hmm.
because we're supposed to be moving, and that really helps regulate our emotions as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's extremely important to get enough exercise, fresh air now that the weather's getting nicer. And
Yeah, and then going back to mental health, the movement. I tell clients all the time, just get out there, move, do something. And I did this from day one, from back in my personal training days. I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's Tai Chi, if it's walking the golf course, if it's running, whatever it is, just do something and at least get out for a walk. It's very grounding. It's good to be outside. You get your natural vitamin D. Um, Taking GLP-1s and not exercising is probably not a good idea. And I can't imagine that any physician would say otherwise, right? It's really
yeah.
important.
Yeah, like even back to your hanging skin. I mean, you need to be exercising. You
Mm-hmm.
need to be moving. And yeah, even if you're just losing weight, like if you're losing body fat and you're in that stage of losing some body fat, then it's really important to be getting movement as well. It really helps.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a huge difference. One of the things that I want to talk about as well is that we need proper flow in our body.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. And the thing about GLP-1s that is kind of interesting is how they slow the gastric emptying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we want, like with our digestion, we want food moving through us, right? Properly, we want elimination.
Mm-hmm.
Like having a bowel movement is super important. I always tell my clients it's high five,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you look at a dog, they're like super happy after they have a bowel movement.
Yep.
We need to feel the same way, right? Circulation, like our blood and our lymph, getting things moving.
Mm-hmm.
Our hormones, we want the production and the clearance. And energy, we don't want it stagnating or feeling depleted, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the reason why people feel so sluggish, bloated, and all of those symptoms is because they're stagnating. Like they don't have proper flow in their body. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really, really important as well. Aging well is about flow, how your body moves, processes, and clears what it needs to. That's
Mm-hmm.
really important. That's an important aspect of it. Again, we like can get brain fog and things like that. So it's just important if you've got that proper flow, you just feel so much better overall.
Yeah, and that's why you and I started this podcast because we wanted people to realize that you can age well.
Exactly.
Right, that there are things that you can do to really help yourself. Like I talk to therapy clients about that. If you focus on things that you can control in your life,
Right.
it helps with anxiety,
Yeah.
right? It helps
Yeah.
with your mood because these are things that we can control. We can drink more water. We can have our electrolytes. We can make sure we're getting enough nutrition in and moving our body. I always say no one comes back from a walk and feels worse, right?
Exactly, right? And if you're around nature and you're around trees, like we're a part of nature, not apart from nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important that we get outside and get fresh air and have those experiences. I
Mm-hmm.
think the whole thing with the GLP-1 craze, like because so many people are on them, I think if you can be on a GLP-1 if you need to lose body fat and you've tried everything else and and you're microdosing or using a very like low amount,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not upping that. I think if you can go off of it at a certain point and have a nutritionist and a therapist and have a plan so that you can maintain your weight loss results
Mm-hmm.
so that you're not, putting the weight back on again. I know that that can happen because you haven't really been working with somebody or you haven't really developed the skills on how and what to eat because your body is basically not able to take in as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you can sort of plan that, don't rush. I think that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Slow and steady wins the race. And I also think that, we need to protect our muscle, as we were saying. We need to protect our metabolism, our bones. We need to look after ourselves because as soon as estrogen levels start to go down, like our bone health takes a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, the word is nourishment. I think we really need to nourish ourselves through all these stages, but we really need to think about nourishment when we're on a GLP-1 so that we're getting enough of what our body needs and planning for that. Because as you were saying with the sulfur burps, like, yeah, I've seen that. My brother was on a GLP-1 and he's unwell, but he had lost so much weight and he couldn't eat anything. And I could see that his legs had gotten really thin and he just kept getting these burps and he was unable to keep food down. So taking him off of it was really helpful in his situation. But he was getting a lot of that burping and it's really uncomfortable. And I think ginger is a really good thing for that. It's helpful. But I also think small meals throughout the day and getting some movement as well is really, really helpful. How about you? Have you experienced any of that?
I have, I haven't experienced sulfur burps. We're going to talk more about my journey
Okay.
on
Yeah.
the next episode. But I was curious about your brother. Did he gain any weight back? Because that's a huge concern for people.
No, in his case, he's not gaining weight. Unfortunately, he needs to gain weight.
Okay.
He's like 6'1", perhaps 6 feet. He has a lot of illnesses, though. He's got a lot of things going on, but he hasn't gained the weight back. He lost way too much weight. He completely, it like obliterated his appetite completely, and he couldn't hold food down.
And this is the other thing too, is that it takes away your the pleasure, right? Which, because some people are foodies, some people like, I love food, I love sugar. Some people don't. Which do you love? Are you a big foodie? Do you love food?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Like, there's certain things that I love, but I wouldn't call myself a foodie. I basically eat to live.
Okay.
I don't live to eat, but I do love food and I do find joy in it.
Yeah.
But not in the same way other people do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that too in the next episode. But I think food is important. We have to eat food, right, to survive.
Absolutely.
But I don't love the fact that GLP-1s can take away that pleasure.
100%. Like people feel flat. They don't have that. I know it gets rid of food noise and we'll talk about that. But the thing is though that you lose that joy, right? You lose that experience of, because if we think about dopamine and we can, it's that anticipation of getting that food, right? And then when you actually get it, you're not satisfied because, it's not really fulfilling. It doesn't have that same feeling that it did at one time, right?
Yeah.
I know that. Like, I love chocolate cake.
Yeah.
A really good piece of like a vegan chocolate cake. It's my favorite thing. And I can't imagine not having that pleasure from it. I can't imagine what that would be like because I have that anticipatory, I can't even say that word, anticipatory feeling about it. I know my dopamine receptors are firing off and then I sit down to eat it and it's just so rewarding. But if you don't have that reward, you just feel flat, right?
Yeah, and then it goes back to quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it's very, I think it's tricky where you have to find the right dose where you're not losing that pleasure.
Right.
And you're still able to lose weight, especially if it's visceral fat, right?
Yeah,
the visceral
100%.
fat is the most dangerous. A lot of doctors are talking about this. I think there's more awareness, which is good because it is the fat that surrounds your organs. And GLP-1s have been proven to help reduce that visceral fat.
Yeah, I mean, there's some benefits for sure. I mean, that's why a lot of people are on them. It does help with visceral fat. It's the fat you don't see that's the problem,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the subcutaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Visceral fat can produce a lot of an inflammatory compound inside our body, and it also helps with inflammation because when you are losing visceral fat and you are losing subcutaneous fat, you're producing less inflammation. And a lot of people have found that their joint pain and a lot of their pains have subsided because of being on a GLP-1. So it can really help with that because that fat is very unhealthy for us. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just sitting there inert, it's actually producing inflammatory cytokines. And so we want to make sure that we're losing that fat. And you do when you're on a GLP-1.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
Do you have a lot of clients or patients who are really happy that they've made this choice?
So I think it's a mixed bag. Like I think I've had one person specifically years ago who it didn't work for her.
Mm.
She is a foodie and she found that it was just affecting her emotionally and she just couldn't manage it. And she wasn't losing weight as quickly or losing body fat as quickly as the doctor at the time I was working with wanted her to. So
Okay.
it was affecting how she felt about herself.
Mm.
And but I do find that it's kind of that whole, it just depends on the person. I mean,
Mm.
but I do find that they can be very helpful. And that's why I'm not anti GLP-1,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think that if you have like 10 pounds to lose, I don't know that that's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I work with a lot of weight loss and I help people lose body fat,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that there's a lot of really good ways that you can do it, obviously. It's my
Yeah.
job, but I think it's a mixed bag. I think it depends on the reactions you're having. I mean, with my brother, it was a negative reaction.
Mm.
He likes food, he likes to order things in,
Mm.
and he loves that, and it brings him joy. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
anything that brings us joy is a good thing, because then we send that cascade of hormones throughout our body that are really healthy for our body and help our immunity. But in his case, it wasn't the right medication for him, and it was too
Mm.
strong. But I think for some people, I think it can really help because it helps you with how you feel about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? You look in the mirror and you see that you're smaller, you're losing weight, you're fitting into an old pair of jeans that you couldn't fit into.
Mm-hmm.
And that can bring a lot of joy and happiness as well.
And let's
Yeah.
be honest, we live in a world where we're expected to look a certain way,
Right.
especially as women,
Yeah.
right? And that's another part of aging well is not only you made a really good point. It's not just about the the physical, but it's the physical translates into mental. So if you're
Right.
feeling good in your body and you feel confident and you feel like you can live your best life going forward, that also is a good thing.
100%. You want to feel good in your body. Like you want to feel good in the skin you're in,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want to look good when you take your clothes off. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to feel good, right? Our attitude is what defines us, not the extra weight, not anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's how you feel about yourself. And in order to lose weight, you need to be your own cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to achieve anything in life, really.
Yeah.
It's our inner talk, that self-talk that is so
Mm-hmm.
destructive, right?
It is.
I always say, like, we're our own worst enemies, despite
Totally.
ourselves,
Yeah.
because that's that conversation that we're having with ourselves. And we're also self-critical, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
if you can feel good when you get dressed or you're going to a wedding or you're going out with your friends or you're doing something
Mm-hmm.
and you put on something that you couldn't fit into and you're fitting into it, I mean, that's going to bring you a lot of joy and
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem, right?
No,
And that's what we
absolutely.
want, especially as we're getting older. Like, we want to feel good. I mean, if you look at the older generation, I can look at my mom, and we'll talk about more about that in our menopause discussion. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a different time
Mm-hmm.
completely. And, there weren't GLP-1s, like there weren't any of those options.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about feeling good about yourself. It's how you show up.
Yeah. Well, in GLP-1s, a lot of them are going to be way more available in terms
Right.
of cost, and they're different. There's a new one coming out.
Yeah, it's a GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. So it's
Yeah,
even more powerful.
yeah. I've been seeing a lot of good information on that one, because that one is, I think, supposed to be even better for inflammation, isn't it?
It is, and it also helps how your body uses energy, which is
Okay.
great. So yeah, so that is also it's very powerful. But again, these are medications. They
Yeah.
are very powerful. They're overriding some of your biology in a sense. And I think it's important to use them wisely. And I also think less is more,
Yeah.
back to that. And I think there's no rush to the finish line. You have to think about how long has it taken you to get to the point that you're at, you know? And slow and steady, right? So that
Yeah.
you lose it properly and you're not losing lean body mass and you're not losing, it's not affecting your bones. I think we need to do things slower.
Yeah.
And I think exercise, you know, fresh air, and you need to make sure that you're eliminating every day. You need to have proper bowel movements. We need that flow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're stagnating, and then that can lead to, you know, brain fog and things like that, and bloating, you know?
Another thing that concerns me is that a lot of people are ordering these online.
Yeah, that's very concerning. I wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. I wouldn't order peptides online either, unless it's a
No.
reputable source. But even then, I think there's doctors for that. I work with
Yeah.
doctors, but I think that if you're going to go on a medication, and it is a medication, I think getting it from your family doctor would be the way to go, and being monitored by your doctor, getting blood work done.
Yeah.
You know, it's a picture in time, but I like looking at people's blood work because then I can kind of see what's going on with them. I look at it from a nutritional lens, but it gives me insight. You know, I was working with someone recently, and she was having some hormonal issues, and she got blood work done, and thankfully she did, because we got to see what was high and what was kind of on the lower side, right? And it just gave us more insight into what needed to happen. So it's you need a family doctor. You need somebody monitoring you, and you need somebody really good that you can actually talk to as well.
Yeah. Where there's no judgment, there's no
Yeah.
bias, you feel heard,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
that's really important, and it's not easy
Yeah.
to find either.
Yeah, and the obesity word isn't used because I think
Right.
BMI is a terrible measurement, because if you have a lot of muscle on your body, it's actually going to be higher because muscle weighs more than fat. But I know we use it a lot in the clinic, but it's, you know, when I hate the word obese. We're not obese. And when it comes to weight loss, another word I use with my clients is that it's not weight loss, it's weight releasing.
I
We're
like
releasing
that.
something because
Yeah.
we don't want to think that we've lost something that we want to get back again. We want to release it. It's no longer serving us. We don't need it. And we need to release whatever is no longer serving us. And I think that's a better, healthier way to look at it, and much
Yeah.
more nourishing in the way we think.
Yeah. No,
So-
I really like that. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to remember that.
Yeah.
Because I think the mental health component around releasing weight is huge, because a lot of people, you know, they grew up being bullied because of how they looked,
Yeah,
or their
100%.
weight. Then there's the you know, even as adults, the judgment, you know, I hate to use this term, but the fat shaming, right?
It's
and
terrible.
the body shaming, and it's not okay. And I don't I've always hated bullies. I don't like anyone being judged for how they look, because I don't think that's fair, because we don't know what people are going through.
Exactly. We're not in their shoes.
We're
And
not
to
in
make
their
a judgment
shoes.
against somebody is completely inappropriate.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times too, we're also self-judging ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you self-judge yourself, people mirror back to you kind of what you're doing. I'm not saying that there isn't fat shaming, and for sure there is, but I think it's how we feel about ourselves too. I remember I had a client, I wrote about her in my first book, and she was bullied, like, you know, in her younger years, and it really stuck with her. And when they say that sticks and stones can't break my bones, can break my bones, but names will never hurt me, it's not true. You know, it stays with us, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
huge.
I've been bullied too as a kid,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
really
I
huge.
talk about that in my book.
Yeah,
People can be very cruel, right?
100%. And they're, you know, when you're happy within yourself, you can be generous to other people. So oftentimes it's a reflection of what they have going on within themselves, right? That is coming out, or it's external.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, it's terrible. I mean, to judge somebody for the way they look or anything. I mean, one thing I've learned as I've gotten older is that I don't know what something feels like sometimes until I've actually gone through it. And then when you've had that experience, you can really empathize
Mm-hmm.
and you can really feel what it feels like. I can do that anyways because I'm a highly sensitive person. But yeah, I mean, I want my clients and patients that come to see me to feel empowered when they leave
Mm-hmm.
and not to feel bad. It's not
Yeah.
about being perfect. It's good, better, best.
Yeah.
So decisions, there's no bad decision. I don't like that language.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if you feel guilty about what you've had, then that's going to cause more damage than the actual piece of chocolate cake, back to
For
chocolate cake.
sure.
But, that guilt is a self-made emotion that's not healthy for us, right?
Yeah.
So if you feel guilty about something, you're actually harming your body because your brain doesn't know if something is real or perceived. Apparently, 92% of what you think about isn't real.
Oh, that's
Only
interesting.
8% has the potential to be real. Yeah, I read that somewhere, but your brain doesn't know if it's real or perceived. So if you're feeling guilty and bad about something, then that's sending that cascade of hormones throughout your body and it's causing a lot of damage, right?
Yeah.
So we want to, not feel bad about our decisions. And sometimes having something that feeds your soul is okay, right?
Yeah.
It's giving yourself permission to just be human because
Yeah.
we are human. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, but in our human earth school, as I call it, having something is not the end of the world if you're really, really wanting it, and so it's good, better, best. There's no bad decision when it comes to food because we have this love-hate relationship with something we can't live without. And, food is life, it's nourishment, it's joy, it's celebration, it's all of that. So we need to just embrace it.
Yeah.
And one of my things is I like to help people have a healthy relationship with food and to feel really good about the choices they're making. And yeah, and even if it's not a perfect choice, so be it. It's still a good choice.
Yeah.
It's what your body wanted at that moment.
Well, I talk a lot about cognitive behavioral therapy. So when you pair with a nutritionist, a therapist and nutritionist in terms of helping people with their health journey, I think it's ideal because the going back to you have to eat
Right.
and doing things in moderation and being mindful, right? So eating mindfully and intuitively rather than using it as a coping mechanism.
100%. It's easier said than done.
Yes.
Right? Because a lot of people have so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like when we're constantly eating, it's like there's so much clutter, right?
Yeah.
And you can't see the forest for the trees. You don't really know what's causing that. So it's getting to the root cause of things and understanding what is causing you to feel that you need to use food to cope, right? As a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And again, it's just kind of understanding yourself at the core and understanding like what is precipitating this, what is causing me to feel this way, right?
Yeah.
It's and that's where you come in because it's really important. It's also not one size fits all. And that's what I think with finding the right doctor is a good idea because being on the right dose and not overdoing it and not trying to rush because you have a wedding in a month,
Right.
that's not healthy. Or
No.
you're going on vacation,
Yeah.
You need to be doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And just eating healthfully but also enjoying your life and finding joy in things. And if that means going to a restaurant and having like a delicious meal with your spouse or your partner, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, be in the moment of it.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet is alcohol, because with
Right.
GLP-1s, there's definitely more sensitivity for a lot of people with alcohol.
Right.
So it can actually help with people who maybe consume more alcohol than they should, and we can also talk more about addictions in the next episode. But what has been your experience with that?
So again, I think you're right. People are more sensitive. Also, if you don't have proper flow, things are they're not getting metabolized in the same way. And alcohol takes precedent because it is a bit of a poison, right? Going into your system. So I do think people are more sensitive to it. I'm not a huge fan of alcohol, for myself personally. Like I just, I'm not, but I, have a lot of friends who are real, like they love wine and they're wine connoisseurs. And there's something really nice about having a glass of wine if that's your passion and what you really love. But again, I think it's less is more, I think you're on this journey and if I was going to put something in my body and I only had a limited capacity to do that, I would put in the most healthy, nutritious food and beverages
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm getting the most. I'm getting the biggest bang for my buck. And I'm really helping my body heal, and I'm helping my body, age well and all the rest of it. Not to say there's anything wrong with alcohol, because if you do love having a glass of wine, that's perfectly fine. But again, it's like that overindulgence in things, or doing it every single day. And then again, you're depleting yourself.
Yes.
You're doing something, and you're causing a bit of a depletion because you're throwing your body into something else.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all about balance. It's homeostasis. It's about, and our bodies are so intelligent anyways. We're so blessed, they always, it's amazing what you can do to your body and it still comes back again, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that. But I think it's just that moderation. If you can do moderation. And I think it's about, if you have a limited capacity again, put things in your body that are really helpful. Like, I drink my daily greens all day. I have a mason jar, and I'm using that because it's full of nutrients and it's really healthy. So I use that a lot. I like vitamin C for my skin, especially as I've gotten older. And I'm kind of like toxic phobic in a way.
Yeah.
I don't like anything that has toxicity in it.
Yeah.
And not that alcohol does, because it's enjoyable. And if that's your thing, then just enjoy it.
Yeah.
My way around that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's good to get your perspective, because I know you actually eat a lot cleaner than I do. I do like my glass of wine, but I think
exactly.
I think it is about moderation. And I mean, I think you and I are good examples of aging well, because
I'm going to be 61 this summer,
which is amazing.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And I'm going to be 53 this summer. So,
wow. Yeah.
You've been a nutritionist for decades. I've been in wellness for decades, starting as a personal trainer, and I was a yoga and Pilates instructor and taught meditation. And I grew up in a household where you go out, you're outside until it's dark and you play.
Exactly. Me too. And then the lights, as soon as the lights went off, that's when you came home.
Exactly.
The street lights. Yeah.
Exactly.
We never locked our front door.
No, we're very hardy people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was never an issue. And we played outside. We didn't have screens.
Yeah.
It was completely different. So I think that, I think it's really important to, to nourish yourself and to look after yourself, especially as we age. And I've noticed that. I've noticed some aging changes in my body. And I think that, we need to just look after ourselves and make sure we're hitting all those things that are going to help us wake up in the morning and feel good.
And going back to things we can control in our life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Practicing mindfulness, physical activity, what you're ingesting, making sure what
you're watching too.
Yes, that's a good point too.
I can't watch scary movies because I can't sleep after. They scare me. Like, I don't want to see a lot of violence on television.
Yeah.
So, I think it's all of it. I think it's not just what you eat. It's also what you see. It's also the company that you keep. It's all of it. It's all part of the whole aging well, you know, and making sure that we're looking after ourselves.
Yes, we can do a whole episode on toxic relationships.
I know. We should actually.
Yes, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot of good stuff today. We are going to talk in the next episode more about the mental health side of things and food addiction and food noise, because there's a lot of chatter out there about that. And I think, your points about slow and steady is really important. And thank you so much for all of your knowledge. You have amazing.
Thank you. You too. And I just want to say one thing, though, that aging well is not about getting smaller. That's not what it is. It's about being healthy and, and keeping your plump and juiciness in your skin, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to lose our face.
Yeah. We don't want an Ozempic face.
No, we don't want that. And I remember Jane Fonda just quickly used to say, I have to think about my bum or my face.
Yeah.
Before the Academy Awards.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ara. It was a great discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here for this episode of The Art of Aging Well. If this resonated with you, we'd love for you to share it with someone who might need this conversation. And welcome back to our next episode that we'll be sharing with you soon.
Thank you.